Hey, songwriters, welcome back to At Home Songwriting. I'm Chad Shank hanging out with you today. Today, I wanted to dive in and walk you through some process that I use to write my songs and also help you start to think about how you can incorporate them incorporate the process, rather, the steps into your own songs as well. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Chad Shank. I'm a songwriter. I'm a songwriting teacher. I'm a recording artist. I put out my own music. I just love this stuff. So I want to help you by doing some of my own work. So let's talk about process here. And I've got some notes. So if I'm looking away, that's why. But the first steps when I start doing a lot of my songs is I start with a track or a chord progression. So not really groundbreaking. Many of you probably do this as well. But why do we start with music, or why do we start with chords? Well, songwriting is all about emotion, right? So everything that we do, all of the decisions that we make really come down to how does this affect the emotion that I'm trying to communicate? Because songwriting is all about communication and communicating emotions and stories, right? So the first step is setting a vibe, setting an emotion. So one of the things I want you to remember and I want you to learn, and maybe even repeat this to yourself, just so you start to remember it, it is that music creates the emotion and the lyrics tell the story. I'll say that again. Music creates the emotion and lyrics tell the story. So your lyric will never outright the music vibe. So whatever vibe your music is setting, that is going to be the main vibe of your song. So some of you will say, well, yes, I can do happy music and then write sad lyrics. Yes, you can, but you have to understand what effect that has on the emotion. Sometimes you're not actually getting a sad feeling. You're almost getting the feeling of sarcasm or irony, which might be exactly what you're trying to communicate, right? So that might be exactly what you want. But a lot of times we want to have more of a concentrated emotion. We want to have more of a focused emotion. So step one in my process is I start with chords or a vibe. The next step that I will do, and I'll show you more of this as well, but the next step, step two, is I mumble sing, which means I just ad lib gibberish nonsense over a track or over the chord progression. So why am I doing this? Well, the reason is I want to come up with a melody. And I truly believe that one of the fastest ways for you to improve your songwriting is to improve your melodies. If you write lyrics first, many times you are not writing to rhythm. You're just writing and making things rhyme, right? There might be a little bit of a rhythm pattern, but you're not really thinking about it too deeply. You're just saying what you're saying, right? All fine and good until you start to put that to music. That irregular rhythm, a lot of times, isn't going to sing very well. So, how many times have you written lyrics and then when you go to sing it, it just falls flat, right? So, one of the reasons why I mumble sing and create the melody first is because I want a rhythm to write to. And remember, melody is just rhythm and pitch. A melody is just a series of pitches that are played in rhythm. So I truly believe that the more refined you can make your rhythms and the more refined you can make your melodies, and that doesn't mean they have to be soaring melodies and they don't have to be these huge, like Celine Dion compositional melodies, but there needs to be some form of motif and there needs to be some pattern of rhythm that the listener can hang on to. So I kind of come from the Max Martin school of thought that says the lyric serves the melody, not the other way around. So a lot of people think, well, the melody serves the lyric, but I actually think your lyric should be serving the melody. And since I've thought that way, my songs have improved and I've had more comments and more compliments on my songs, and people seem to connect with them more. And people can't really explain why, but I know why. So, step three comes after I have somewhat of a melody figured out, right? So, once I have this mumble singing, I have an idea of how it's going to go, how it's going to sing. The next step is to live with that melody for a day or two and just listen to it over and over and get it ingrained in my mind so I remember it sort of through instinct by heart. Because for some reason it's just the way my brain works. I don't necessarily remember melodies like the first time that I hear it. So I have to hear it over and over again. So my third step is to just live with this melody and play it on repeat, right? And listen to what it starts to tell me. What does it start to speak to me? Are there certain sounds or words that start to come to the surface? And then once I've lived with that melody for a while, step four is to start writing lyrics to it. And this is where I still play the melody over and over again. A lot of times I'll have it on my phone and I'll play it in my AirPods and I will write lyrics while me and my partner are watching TV because I have the rhythm, I have the melody, I have the vibe. I can sort of start writing words that fit with what I already have. So the lyric writing part happens kind of step four. And it's really trying to communicate that vibe, trying to communicate that idea. What kind of a hook really communicates what the music is saying? And then step five, once I have the lyrics, then it's time to record the vocals. So then I'll come back down into this room. We call it the music room. Joey, who's sleeping behind me there, he's kind of the music dog. We call this the music room. He likes it in here. He actually comes in here when I'm not in here. But I come here and I record the vocals and I record the lead parts. I record harmonies if there are any. I do any of the digital vocal effects. I'm a fan of using vocoders. It saves a lot of time for background vocals, harmonies that I can't hear naturally. Some of you might say it's cheating, but I like the actual kind of electronic sound, especially when I'm doing pop music. I think it works really well. So I record the vocals as step five. Step six, I put the song away for a while and then I come back and mix it. And then step seven, I come back and I master the song. So just to review those steps before we dive into this particular song that I want to show you. So the steps are start with a track, start with a chord progression and a groove. That could be simple, could just be you playing on your instrument, record it. Step two is mumble sing and sing a melody that has some contrast, it has some motif in it. And then three is live with the melody for a while, get it in your head, get it in my head. And then step four is once you have that melody, then you write lyrics to it and you fit the vibe of the song. And step five is record the vocals. Step six is mix it. Step seven is master. So before I dive into showing you this song, I want to talk about melody concepts. And one of the melody concepts that is extremely important is that each section should have its own identity or its own set of motifs. And you don't need complicated melodic motif in your songs. Each section could have one or two specific lines or specific motifs that you play with in some pretty standard structures in order to create a cohesive song. So what I want to show you is using this concept of the rule of two. And in this song, I'm going to show you the chord progression stays the same throughout the entire song. So contrast needs to come from something other than the chords, right? So this means contrast needs to come from the melody and it needs to come from the lyrics. So let's jump in and take a look at what I'm talking about here. Okay, so now that we're in the track and you've seen kind of what that looks like, I want to show you my mumble singing, right? So I'm just going to play the electric pianos and the vocal ad libs that became the song. So I want to talk through this concept of rule of two, right? So the rule of two means if you've done something twice, don't do it again until you do something else. So if you look at the screen here, and I'll make this bigger, you can see that in this verse, so the verse runs from measure 5 to 13. So it's an 8 measure verse. The first half really has two sections of melody. So you have melody 1A right here, and then you have melody B. So I will play that for you. Oops. Got to turn this up so you can hear the voice. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. So do you hear that? There's A, so there's one motif, and then there's motif B. So A, B. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. So if I repeat it, you get that A B pattern, right? So that's very common in music. So that I would say that's a standard song form. So A B. Now, what if I play that and it doesn't change? So let's say we go A B. Let me know when you start to feel tension. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. So we heard both motifs there. We heard each 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? And I don't know about you, but on that third time, when we started the third go around of an A B, it felt like we were getting bored. I don't know if you felt that tension. I don't know if you felt that pull of like, we need something different here, but that's where the rule of two comes in. So in this section, in this verse, we have A, B. So we have 4 melodic lines, which that means 4 melodic lines will equal 4 lyric lines, right? So with that in mind, using that rule of two, let's now extend this to listen to where the pre-chorus comes in. So now that I've done A twice, I've done B twice, now I need another motif. So let's listen to what I did going into this 13th measure. So we'll start at 5 and then we'll go in as well. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want to. I feel like I should be better than I. About a bit been feeling me now. I feel like I should be better than I. About a bit been feeling me now. So do you hear how the rhythm changed, the pitch changed, and now instead of having 4 different lines, we actually kind of have really another 4, but it's the rhythm, and it almost is like a 6 bar or a 6 line motif. So listen again. So it goes da 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 da. That's 1. Da 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 da. 2, and then it goes dee doo dip dee doo 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 doo. So that's kind of A B. Listen again. I feel like I should be better than I. About a been feeling me now. Do you hear how that's AAB? Well, that AAB creates one pass, right? So we want to do that little pattern only one more time in that rule of two. So now that we've done that twice, we need to now do something completely different. So now we get to the chorus, and again, I'm changing the rhythm pattern, I'm changing the pitches, and I'm changing the number of melodic lines. So listen to what the chorus sounds like. So do you hear how now in the pre-chorus we kind of had 6 lines. Now in the chorus we had 8 lines. So we went from 4 lines in the verse, 6 lines in the chorus, 8 line or excuse me, 4 lines in the verse, 6 lines in the pre-chorus, and then 8 lines in the actual chorus. And notice that the chord progression is just looping. So the chords are not changing. It's the same progression over and over again. But what's building is that melodic motif and the melodic energy. So let's listen from the verse through the chorus. And then I want to talk about how melody applies to rhyme. So let's give this a listen. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want my time. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want my time. I feel like I got you being better than I. About a back to being me now. I feel like I got you being better than I. About a back to being me now. I'm not a phone. So that gives us that verse, pre-chorus, chorus. And notice how the contrast helps us not get bored throughout the song. And could I have put even more contrast in? Absolutely. But I think for this song, this seems to work for the vibe that I was going for. So now let's talk about rhyme. Many times rhyme happens because of the rhythmic pattern, or the rhythmic pattern suggests where the rhyme should be. So listen to the verse again and just take a moment and tell me where you think the rhyme sounds like it happens. So let's listen. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want my time. About an outfit that funny. I feel that you want my time. So do you hear how it sounds like this one right here? So the first phrase so the first and the third phrase and the second and the fourth phrase sound like they rhyme, or they should rhyme. So as a songwriter, when you have a melody, many times that rhythm and the melody is going to suggest to you where the rhymes happen naturally. So you have a choice here. You can either do that and meet everybody's expectations, or you can not rhyme where we expect it, but you have to do that in a very thoughtful way because you want to make all of these decisions through the lens of what does that do to the emotion of the song. So a lot of times, not rhyming where people expect it will not fit the emotion that you're trying to communicate, right? So I know some songwriters that their entire existence is built on the fact that they want to break every single quote unquote rule and they want to not do anything traditional, right? Which is fine, but a lot of times their songs lack any sort of emotional direction because they're not thinking about emotion. They're just thinking about being very antithetical to what kind of feels good, right? So let's listen now to the parts that I have written, and I think I have this turned up. So here's what I did for the verse, and we'll go all the way through the chorus. So see if you can spot where I put the rhymes.
Oh, we have skin that's honey, a package that you wanna bring home. I know it makes your eyes hungry. A wow factor that you want is your own. If nothing else, you get experience. Nothing deep, nothing serious. So it could be, or it might be casual. You know his meeting criteria. Nerdy, sexy, and mysterious. But be careful, or it might be flammable. It might be trouble, but it might be fun. Make a cute couple and you might find love. You're all up on it, why keep it platonic? Oh, it might be trouble, but it might be fun.
So do you see how I rhymed where it sort of naturally felt like it should rhyme? And I'm trying to mess with these track widths, but it's being stupid. Okay, there we go. So look at this verse again.
Oh, we have skin that's honey, a package that you wanna bring home. I know it makes your eyes hungry. A wow factor that you want is your own. If nothing else, you get experience. Nothing deep, nothing serious. So it could be, or it might be casual. You know his meeting criteria. Nerdy, sexy, and mysterious. But be careful, or it might be flammable. It might be trouble, but it might be fun. Make a cute couple and you might find love. You're all up on it, why keep it platonic? Oh, it might be trouble, but it might be fun.
So now that I've shown you my thought process on melody, lyric, and kind of what the step-by-step looks like, let's jump in and actually see how the vocals were cut and how the tracks were put together.
If nothing else, you get experience. Nothing deep, nothing serious. Oh, it could be, and it might be casual. You know he's meeting criteria. Nerdy, sexy, and mysterious. Be careful, oh, it might be flammable.
Okay, so I recorded all of the vocals and I did some vocoder effects for some background vocals, for some kind of electronic harmonies, those types of things. I played the vocoder on the keyboard and made that. So I wanted to jump back into the file and show you how this song came to be. So I'm going to share my screen. So how did this song come about? Well, it started as a track and I wanted to have kind of an 80s kind of fun vibe, a little bit of kind of a laid back summer kind of vibe type thing. And the music came first. So this was the music. So this is, here we go. So what music parts do I have? Let's jump into this here. So I'm just going to highlight the chorus. So if we go track by track, we have, I'm going to pull these all down. So our first track is a, whoops, don't want that. This is the first track is a kick. I just want to highlight the chorus here. Next is the snare. I have a hi-hat. Another drum loop that I got out of Logic. Then I did my own percussion loop, but it's actually just kind of like cymbals and stuff. Then I have a bass. Guitar 1. Guitar 2. Keys. So, and then the last track, I have an electric piano that's layering the DX7 sound here. So all together, it sounds like this. So once I had all those music tracks, then the next step that I did was I went in and I ad-libbed a melody. So I ad-libbed just me singing mumbles and came up with the melody that I ended up writing to. So this is what the mumbles were. So once I had that, I took that and I listened to it over and over again. And I thought that, I thought it would, might be trouble, but might be trouble, but it might be fun. So that's where the hook kind of started from. And then I ended up writing lyrics away from the studio. I like to write lyrics kind of in other places. And then I ended up, this is what the song is at this point. So it's not mixed. These are raw tracks.
We have skin that's honey, a package that you wanna bring home. I know it makes your eyes hungry. A wow factor that you want is your own. If nothing else, you get experience. Nothing deep, nothing serious. So it could be, or it might be casual. You know his meeting criteria. A nerdy, sexy, and mysterious, but be careful, or we might be flammable. He might be trouble, but it might be fun. Make a cute couple and you might find love. You're all up on it, why keep it platonic? Oh, it might be trouble, but it might be fun.
So that's where the song is now. So the next step in the process is I will put this away for a few days, and then I'm going to come back to it and I will mix it and see if it's in a close to final form. But I'm liking the direction that it's going. I like the feel of the song. I think the rough recording, just kind of no real kind of mixing, sounds pretty good. So I think I'm at a good spot. So now here is your assignment until the next time we get together, right? So I want you to take at least the 5 steps, the first 5 steps that I've shown in this video, and I want you to work on a song of your own. So what are those 5 steps? First, I want you to start with a track or a chord progression. So just record even just a simple chord groove or even a simple track of some kind. If you're not a producer, maybe find a track online so you have just an instrumental to top line to. Step 2 is I want you to mumble sing and create a cohesive melody using the rule of 2 and using the concept of contrast. If you need a review, go back and watch this video again where I show you how I'm changing rhythm, I'm changing pitch, I'm changing the number of melodic phrases, which equals the number of lines. Also, then live with that melody for a while. See if it really touches you, if it gets into your system, and really start to learn it. And then step 4 is write lyrics to that melody and use the music as your guide on the vibe and the emotion of the song. Remember, the music always sets the tone, the vibe of what the emotion is. And then step 5 is record the vocals. So record the song. And then step 6 and 7 are mix and master, but I'm not at that point with my song yet either. So I'm at step 5 where it's recorded. I'm going to mix it and master it later. But I want you to take these 5 steps and I want you to literally try it, because watching these videos is like only half of the equation for you, right? Like you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't go and do it, you're not going to learn anything. So once you record your stuff, you can share it with me and other songwriters in the at-home songwriting free online community. That's at athomesongwritingcourses.com. There's a place where you can post for peer reviews and feedback and connect with other songwriters. That's at athomesongwritingcourses.com. And be sure you sign up for some of the free online courses I have on melody and lyric writing. But until next time, get busy, get writing, and I can't wait to see kind of what you put together. And leave questions in the comments, and I will see you next time.